Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Nerd Up. This week, it is the all-star cast of Asa Gray, the 5-star man.
That's 5 stars.
And me, Jesse.
You're also a 5-star man. You just can't use it.
It's
taken.
It's very taken.
Seats taken.
I tried to call myself a 1-star man once, and he even that he wouldn't let me have.
No. You're my shining star.
All right. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, not the least of which is Borderlands 3, because it came out on Friday. Yeah, Asa and I put 25 hours into the game over the weekend. What of it?
Fight me.
You got a problem?
I mean, don't fight me because I am weak from lack of nutrition and sleep. Like, if you're going to take your shot, now's the time, Internet. Because I am soft from Cheez-Its and pizza and Oreos and Coke Zero and literally nothing else. That's not true. We had Taco Bell.
We
one
did
night.
have Taco Bell Saturday night. We ventured out from my apartment.
I pride myself from Jesse's couch. Between how comfy that couch is and the weight of that blanket you gave me, like, I've never felt more at home. I'm just being embraced by comfort.
It's like that. I love laying down on that couch. Like sitting on that couch, less than ideal. Mm-hmm. Laying down on that couch.
Oh, I don't know if you noticed how I repositioned for that second day of like, all right, I'm going to rotate the monitors so I can just lay down and play.
Yeah, no. Night one, I did have. We had Dalton over there too. Saturday though, it was me and Asa all day. Like literally, he spent the night at my house Friday night.
Yeah.
Then Saturday morning we woke up. I showed him episode 1 of The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, why for, Daddy?
I'll tell you why for. That show, by the way, just a quick shout out to The Righteous Gemstones. If you've still got, if for whatever reason, Game of Thrones ended, you haven't canceled your HBO Go yet, go on HBO Go and watch The Righteous Gemstones. It's starring John Goodman, Adam Devine, and Danny McBride. And holy crap!
I only saw the first episode, and I need more in my life. Like I need that to continue. It was so good.
It's so good. Anyway, so Saturday morning we did that, ate cold pizza, and then we played Borderlands until like 7 or 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah, we started playing at about 11.
Yeah. About 7 or 8 o'clock that night, we stopped playing to go get Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. We watched an episode of King of the Hill and then right back to it.
Yes, and until like 1:30.
Yeah. And then Sunday morning, Asa spent the night again. Sunday morning, woke up and just immediately went to it.
Yeah, which that one was much shorter because you slept in a little bit more. I actually read some comics that I had brought with me because I wasn't sure like what kind of a break situation was going to be, which I'm going to be talking about one of those comics later in the show.
Oh, boy.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
And then I had to go. I realized, like, I really need to go home and, like, bathe. Because I brought changes of clothes and deodorant. So, like, I was wearing a different outfit every day. I did that for Jesse and Andrew's sake. I wasn't trying to show up and, like, funk up their apartment. It was like, I need to bathe and I have to do my laundry for the week.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I did that, and then had to do adult things and started packing and organizing.
All that good stuff. Yeah, I took a shower and watched football and then did laundry. That was the rest of my day after Asa left. Well, I did play a little bit longer with Trevor because Trevor jumped on with me, Trevor jumped on and I jumped in with him, and I tried out another character class and just kind of messed around with some of the. That'll be later. We'll talk about it during the actual stuff because that's related to the game, and less related to our weekend being adults, grown men.
Oreos and Cheez-Its.
Oh, and chips. The bacon wrapped jalapeno popper chips.
Those were weird.
Those were weird.
They tasted like one of the 3.
Yeah, and it was different per chip. Anyway, all right. So the first little bit of news that I'm going to talk about, I just want to throw this out there. So a lot of news came out about the Black Widow movie. Lot of news.
I did find so the thing I told you before about it being before the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That was from like 2 years ago.
Okay, cool.
I have found the confirmation of when that movie is taking place.
Oh, there is confirmation.
They did reveal it at Comic-Con.
Okay.
It is sometime between Captain America's Civil War and Infinity War.
Got it.
So that is confirmed. Disney has said that.
Okay, Disney has said that, so now we do have a timeline, which is so it's not going to be an origin story like we thought it was going to be. Also, like there's a whole lot of rumors flying around that Robert Downey Jr. will return as Iron Man in this movie. That has not been confirmed by anybody but one website that kind of like threw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know if their source is confirmed or anything like that. So big old grain of salt there.
And there's also a whole lot of speculation that it's not like he will not be back on set. Like, as, you know, oh, he's filming more stuff for this. They're going to recycle footage that they already have.
Which, yeah, distinct possibility there. And with, because that was one thing when I read that Tony Stark's going to come in, I was like, okay, so I guess he's going to have, you know, a cameo line, because I was thinking, surely this is long before, you know, the Avengers, like before Iron Man 1, because Black Widow's been in S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while as of Iron Man 1. But here we are. Apple has announced Apple TV Plus streaming service. It's going to be $4.99 a month. It's going to be kind of, you know, it's going to be their Disney Plus, Netflix, whatever you want to call it. It will have a lot of exclusive content. We don't know if there's going to be any, like, pre-existing stuff on there.
Didn't we already know this was a thing? Because, like, at E3, the Rob McElhenney TV show was advertised as Apple, was like, it was an Apple TV Plus thing.
We may have known it, we just didn't know the price.
Oh, so okay, it's just details of it.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's coming in September.
I thought you said revealed, and I was like,
oh yeah, the pricing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I guess I didn't actually finish the headline, which was Apple announces Apple TV Plus streaming service pricing and release date. Because yeah, $4.99 a month, and it's supposed to be out in September. So this month. If it's out the same day as the Apple Arcade, it'll be in 3 days. The 19th is when that one starts up. So more on that in a minute. But in the meantime, yeah, it's going to be a lot of exclusive content on it. Basically, content they're paying to publish and all that stuff. You can watch it on Apple TV, MacBook, iPhone, iPad. I don't know. I tried looking into it, and I couldn't find anything conclusive on if you could watch it on other devices. It'd be really silly if you couldn't just go to like an Apple TV website. But I could not find that information.
Maybe they are so confident that you cannot live without the Jason Momoa show, the Jason Momoa Bird Box show, that you will go out and buy the new $1,100 iPhone Pro Max Plus with the Sam Fisher Splinter Cell goggle cameras that Dalton will buy.
Yeah, he will. Yes, he will. I mean, in fairness, like that camera design, Google unveiled it first. They're going to have that on their next phone.
Well, Google's also stupid.
Yeah, it looks weird. Because, yeah, I don't know. Something about that box is just weird as opposed to... Because they're not... Like, there are other cameras out there right now with 3 lenses. They're just usually in a strip as opposed to in, like...
the Triforce?
Yeah. Which that's a weird design choice.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a very strange design choice. Whatever. This is not that kind of show. So yeah, we got that streaming service. They announced a bunch of stuff on there. One of the things that is getting a lot of attention, including from me, the morning show. This looks really neat. Like I want to watch this, but I'm not gonna give Apple money to watch it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I'm at an impasse. Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon with Steve Carell. It looks like a kind of a TV drama with Jennifer Aniston as a news host that in some way threw Steve Carell under a bus, got him fired, and all this other stuff. I don't know. But it looks interesting, and I really like Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell. So, yeah, check this out for sure. Taika Waititi looks like he had a couple of things. We had the big announcement from James Gunn confirming a whole bunch of people. Basically, every famous person we've talked about that's been cast in the Suicide Squad on this show for the past several weeks is now confirmed by James Gunn to be in the movie.
And several famous people that we did not talk about.
Right.
Whose names are much harder for me to say. If you want to hear me struggle through that list, just patreon.com/Podzilla1985. $1 gets you access to the pre-show and every other pre-show.
All of them. All of them we've ever done. Michael Rooker was the one. I could have sworn that at some point we talked about Michael Rooker was definitely not in this movie. Like I thought Michael Rooker said Michael Rooker is not in this movie.
I think it was that he confirmed he wasn't playing King Shark. but I don't know if they ever outright said he wasn't going to be in the movie.
Yeah,
Because it was like Idris Elba was originally going to be Deadshot, and then they're like, no,
he's not gonna be.
We're not going to be Deadshot because that's Will Smith's character, and this wasn't he's mad and leaving the series. It was just a scheduling conflict. But I think it was like there was the rumor of who Michael Rooker was going to play, and then that got. And it's very possible that we just interpreted it as Michael Rooker is no longer. It will not be in the movie.
Because Michael Rooker definitely said, maybe he did just say, like, I'm not King Shark.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn that he said he's not going to be in the movie. Or at least if he's in the movie, he doesn't know it yet.
Or it's possible he was just telling a fib.
Also a possibility, because it was one of those things that I guess kind of leaked. Like, it wasn't an announcement anywhere. But yeah, we also got, I don't know which ones we've talked about. I know for sure we've talked about several of these, but I'll run through that list. I'll see if I can do any better than Asa did. We don't know who any of these people are playing. That's important. Mm-hmm. Except for we obviously know who Margot Robbie is playing.
And Jai Courtney.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he's returning as well. Anyway, I didn't even see his name there, and I forgot you said it earlier. To be honest with you. So we got David Desmalchian, John Cena, Jai Courtney, Joaquin Casillo, Nathan Fillion, Joel Kinnaman, Mei Ling Ing, Flula Borg, Sean Gunn, Juan Diego Botto, Storm Reed, Pete Davidson, Taika Waititi, Alice Braga. Oh, Taika Waititi was a big one, by the way. That was kind of out of nowhere. Steve G. Oh God, Tanash Kajis. Jesse? I don't know. Daniela Melchior, Peter Capaldi, Julio Ruiz, Jennifer Holland, Viola Davis, Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Michael Rooker. And
and Viola Davis will be Amanda Waller again.
Yes.
That's another returning name.
Yeah. Thought that looked familiar. Anyway, so yeah, that's the big list we got. Taika Waititi, though, confirmed that he was in it. And he had a video was tweeted out with an interview with Taika Waititi where he was asked first who was going to be the star of Thor: Love and Thunder. And in a very Taika Waititi way, he said Chris Hemsworth will definitely be the star, but Natalie's going to be in it too. So it seems that my theory about Chris Hemsworth being mostly absent from this film is not true, because I'm still, but even with his answer, like I'm still kind of thinking like we'll get a couple of like shots of maybe Thor hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because obviously the last time we saw Thor, he jumped in with the Guardians and they were traveling around looking for Nebula, or at least that appeared to be the plan they were going to go with. And that would open the door then for Valkyrie and Natalie Portman for Valkyrie and Thor. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see what we get there. But Chris Hemsworth at the very least will definitely be in the movie at some amount of time. Yes, Asa.
Okay, so I can't see when. So on May 11th, Michael Rooker posted on Instagram a headline of an article that says Michael Rooker in talks to play King Shark in The Suicide Squad, and this is an exclusive. And he posted that with the caption DA ... not, all in caps with with exclamation points. So it may have been the nope, not King Shark part, because, and I can't find it because there's 562 comments now. But James Gunn, the verified James Gunn account, 18 weeks ago, commented, haha. So.
Well, all right.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, no, something happened with that.
So that must have been it. That must have been
what we read.
Yeah, he posted no, I'm not in talks to be King Shark, because he's actually in talks to be Killer Croc. Wait, they already did him. Never mind.
They did. Well, I mean, they could recast him.
Yeah.
Like, that's not outside the realm of possibility. Because, James Gunn is just kind of, I mean, he's already said it's a complete reboot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the first movie does not exist in James Gunn's universe. Mm-hmm. Whatever universe that happens to be.
Who knows? It's so weird. And then jumping to this is, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it, like if Hemsworth is in Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
But he's not like a major focal point, which would be kind of a bummer, because that was part of the fun of the Mighty Thor run, was not only seeing Jane Foster dealing with all of her stuff and like trying to, fill the shoes of Thor.
Yeah.
But also seeing Odin's son totally just lose his like collective S of not being able to wield Mjolnir anymore.
Right. And obviously that's not a storyline they're going with in this one, and even a little bit.
That's why I'm actually really, really interested in, even though I was not a huge fan of Ragnarok, like I'm super interested in how they do this story.
Yeah, same. Because I mean, like I still haven't read it. Now that I have Marvel Unlimited, I need to go back and read it.
I would like you to.
It's on the list. Mm-hmm. It's a long list.
It is. But for me, like
just bump it up.
Yeah, bump it up a little bit.
Bump it up a little bit. All right. So yeah, and then they asked him, who's gonna play in the Suicide Squad, and then he also asked, like, so is Marvel upset that you're doing that? I was like, well, they just found out. I was like, so I don't know. So yeah, it'll be fun. I like Taika Waititi. Mm-hmm. Anywho, in comic book news, this next portion of our podcast, first of all, brought to you by our friends at Villainous Grounds in Perryville, Missouri. Make sure you stop by there for all of your comic book needs.
We talked about this on our way to Villainous Grounds on Friday.
Yes.
Doing that comic book run on Saturday of going to various shops and chains and things like that very much made us just like double down our appreciation.
Oh yeah.
Of having Villainous Grounds in our lives. Because it was just like, yes, no, this is a step above the rest. And for all of our listeners out of state, like, we're sorry for the local plug, but we're also not sorry. We're mostly sorry that you don't get to experience Villainous Grounds, and really come visit us, and we'll go and we'll get coffee and talk about comics.
And you can
stuff.
Put a pin wherever you're from. You can put a pin on the map.
Yeah, they have a map.
They have a map from people that visited. One important thing, and I will say this, like one of the big points of this conversation, not a big deal to a lot of you, but those of you out there that do collect comic books, you will appreciate this, and this will mean something to you. I have never paid for whatever I've gotten, like whether it be variants, whether it be harder to get stuff. I have never paid more than cover price on any book I've ever bought from Villainous Grounds.
Yep.
I have paid less for various reasons, sales, etc., but I have never paid more than cover price.
I've told the story before, but for any new listeners that don't know, the reason that I have sworn my loyalty to Villainous Grounds is because we had just started kind of going up there every once in a while. I think I maybe had like Batman pulled and one or two other books. Like I don't even know if I had a pull list at that point even. But so it was, no, I did. I definitely did, because we went up every once in a while just to kind of clear out what was there. And it was just before Rebirth happened, before DC, totally reset everything. That's how long ago this has been. And I completely forgot to ask them to pull that for me. And so we went up there, and I was fully expecting, and this was when Rebirth, like, no one expected it to be as big as it was. Like, it was
selling out everywhere.
Everywhere. Like, yes, this is a huge universe-shattering event, and like totally changes the way the universe works. But I don't think people were expecting it to be this hard to find.
Because I don't think anybody was expecting it to sell especially DC did not expect it to sell as well as it was.
Because I was already finding like on Midtown Comics and things like that, like you were getting the markup prices.
Yep.
Of like, oh no, this is rare, so you're paying an extra like $10-15.
And even for like Midtown is one of those other places that you very rarely pay more than cover at Midtown, unless it's like
something super hard to find.
Yep.
So I was already kind of expecting like, oh, they're definitely not going to have any, but maybe I'll pick it up. It'd be cool to have, but. Man, I can't believe I didn't think to ask to, have one pulled. We go up there, and David and Mary Jo are like, oh, hey, also, we put this aside for you because you mostly talk about DC stuff, and we thought you didn't have it on a list or anything, but we thought you would want it. And if you don't, we'll sell it either way. And they had a copy, first printing, #1 of Rebirth that they sold me at cover. And that was the exact moment that I was like, okay, I already liked these people, but now they have my undying loyalty.
And it has remained. That was like 3 years ago now?
Yeah, whenever Rebirth was. Yeah. Whenever Rebirth launched.
Because I think Rebirth launched in 2016.
Double check it real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great shop. So yeah, no, like, and I know a lot of you are wondering, like,
May 2016.
There you go. And I know a lot of you are wondering, like, but I mean, shouldn't comic book shops sell like everything at cover price? And the answer is yes. but they don't. Even Hastings was probably the worst back in the day. Like they went ahead and threw that. Scalping is a thing like in all collectors markets. Hastings cut out that middleman. They got the book in. Even if it wasn't like a 1 in 5 variant or something like that, it was just like you could order these variants. Every single variant was more expensive at Hastings than cover price.
Yeah.
Every variant. It's dumb. It's so dumb. It was. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it.
But Villainous Grounds is amazing and wonderful, and we love them.
Cover price. So we got a whole lot of comic book news dropped out of this week, especially a big Marvel Comics dump. But to start with, Frank Miller is going to write The Golden Child. It's going to be a continuation of the Dark Knight Returns series. So I know Dalton's going to be really excited about that because I think he even still enjoyed The Master Race, which was the last one. Frank Miller is not going to be doing the art for this one, fortunately, because his art has been slipping.
And yes, Internet, I am also just as disappointed that it's not a comic extenuation of the Eddie Murphy movie. I want the knife.
I had forgotten that movie existed entirely.
Dare you, sir?
All right, so yeah, that's a thing. But Raphael Grandpa is going to be doing the artwork, and I haven't actually seen a lot of his work, but it looks really similar to like I actually thought it was Ramita Jr. art. Like it's an interesting style. It looks all right, and it will be mostly talking about, I guess, the son of Superman and Wonder Woman, which played a significant role in Dark Knight 3, which I never read.
I read the first one. I don't think I even read Dark Knight 2. I don't think. Maybe I did.
I definitely read Dark Knight 2, but I did not read Dark Knight 3. It just did not interest me. I know Dalton said he enjoyed it, and I always meant to like find a trade or something like that and read it. I just never did. We got a new Black Label announcement from DC. This one, I meant to tell Mandy about this because I know she will probably want to grab it. Wonder Woman Dead Earth, launching in December, written by Daniel Warren Johnson. It's, like I said, a Black Label story where Wonder Woman is the last DC hero on Earth. It's a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So that could be real neat in a Black Label environment. We also got an announcement for a Doctor Doom ongoing, start up October 9th. So that's going to be real soon. This one, written by Christopher Cantwell with art by Salvador LaRocca. There's going to be a terrorist event, killed thousands of people. Doom is being held responsible. It wasn't his fault. He didn't do it. But because of this event, he has lost Latveria. So all of his like military, diplomatic immunity, all that other stuff, all gone. Mm-hmm. So he's on the run, I guess, and that's what this story is going to be about.
I mean, I'm interested because it's Doom, but I guess I missed a lot between Infamous Iron Man and now.
Yeah.
Because like Infamous Iron Man, he also did not have Latveria. Latveria was pretty well in ruins because the guy he put in charge like turned out to be a jerk. So he displaced him.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of, it didn't say that he took back over because there was a girl that he liked. It was weird. It was cool, and I liked the run, but I don't.
Yeah, Infamous Iron Man.
Mom was around.
Man, Infamous Iron Man was so good, and it didn't get finished, I feel like.
Yeah, it just kind of, it kind of all got wrapped into when Tony Stark returned.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened to him after that.
Tony Stark came back. Like, I remember reading the issues of Iron Man that Infamous Iron Man and Invincible Iron Man got rolled up into. Because it was telling both stories simultaneously of Tony Stark's return. And Tony Stark came back, and then Doom was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to go back to being Doom now. And it supposedly explained it in Fantastic Four #1, but in a way that's just like, it explained it in the same way that Uncanny explained Cyclops' return. Well, we wanted him back as a bad guy, so he is. Like,
I'll have to ask Dalton about it because he actually was reading Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I even have issue 1 of that Fantastic Four run, and I never read it. I got it because I was like, oh, Dan Slott on Fantastic Four. Yeah, why not? I'll grab it. And yeah, that was it. I never read it. Anyway, I'm still probably going to check this out, though, because I do like Doctor Doom a whole lot. I just need to figure out what's been going on with Doctor Doom so that I know what this is going to do.
Right.
We got more details from the incoming event coming up in December. It looks like it's going to be another, I guess, Marvel Comics 1000 thing where it's got a ton of creative people or teams behind it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's going to be kind of like a finish up to Marvel Comics 1000 is a lot of people are theorizing.
The guy that I talked to about this at Fantasy Shop up in St. Louis kind of just basically was like, this is kind of just Marvel 1001.
Fair enough. I mean, and that would make sense. So it's going to be the idea we talked about a little bit before. There's going to be a mysterious murder. Whole bunch of Marvel heroes are teaming up to try and find the killer. And it's going to be written by Al Ewing, Dan Slott, Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Greg Pak, Eve Ewing, Matt Rosenberg, Ed Brisson, Saladin Ahmed, Teenie Howard, Jonathan Hickman, Donnie Cates, and Jason Aaron. So basically, every single big creator in Marvel right now. And then art by Humberto Ramos, Jim Chung, and I hate it when Marvel does this. Poor artists. Ramos and Chung got named, and the rest of it is and more.
And more, yeah. That is unfortunate.
Because I saw the paragraph of names, and I didn't even read through them when I just copy pasted it over. I was like, I'll read through it on the show. It'll be fine. So I just now am seeing and more. Oh, that's lame. Marvel, respect your artists. Anywho, that's a whole ton of writing talent, though. Like Ramos, I've kind of soured on him a little bit. I used to like him a whole lot, but now I don't honestly know a whole lot about Jim Chung's work. But I mean, Al Ewing's been killing it. He's the guy that's been writing Immortal Hulk. Chip Zdarsky obviously is amazing. Kelly Thompson's awesome. Like a lot of these names are awesome. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to go on with this. And I don't know if a lot of this is fallout from that or what. But we've got in December a ton of new Marvel books are coming. So we've got Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme. Apparently his hands are getting fixed. So he'll actually be able to perform neurosurgery again.
I forgot that was a thing.
Right. And apparently he was never able to fix it with magic. Somehow.
Comics.
But, comics. So yeah, his hands are getting fixed. Mm-hmm. So now he has to, he made an oath about being a doctor. Mm-hmm. So now he's trying to juggle being a neurosurgeon and being Sorcerer Supreme. And that's what this book is about. Apparently it will be horror themed as well. Huh. And it will be Mark Waid and Kev Welker.
Don't make me care about this. Damn it.
I know, right? Like I was like, well, this is a healthy scratch. And then I saw, Mark Waid. Well.
Also, does he have to, balance the whole, no, I can only do neurosurgery as a mortal. I can't, use magic?
Probably.
Is that going to be the thing? I don't, because that was some of Jane Foster, with her cancer. Mm-hmm. Of, no, you could use magic to cure me, but we all know that you typically, that type of magic comes with a price.
Yep. He's even, anytime cancer comes up in comic books, it's always there's some magic that could do it, but usually it involves making a deal with a demon or something along those lines.
Something nefarious.
Yeah, there's never a clean magical way to cure cancer.
Which I think that was a conscious decision on Stan Lee's part. I think he did an interview because he didn't want, the heartbreaking reality that is, children with cancer who love these heroes. They don't want to think, well, why can't Thor save me?
Right.
It was a legitimate, nope, there are some things that you can't really... I need to try to find that because it was a very well thought out.
Also, just quick note while I'm thinking about it, we'll talk about it after the show though. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, how far are you?
I'm still only on the first 2 issues.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, God.
I'm aware.
Hey, so please. All right, so moving past it though, Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Dennis Hallam and Scott Hepburn are writing this. It'll have a mini story in the back of it with Donnie Cates, art by Jeff Shaw. This one is supposed to be a cosmic ghost riders in prison, some sort of cosmic jail.
I would hope so. No, he's in Rikers.
So he's chained up, and now the tagline was basically different wording of I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. Yeah, that was the wording on the tagline for it. But whatever. I mean, it was super popular. Like, I'm sure it'll be. That's another thing that's on my list that I need to read. That Thanos run by Donny Cates. Mm-hmm. That was apparently incredible. That went into Cosmic Ghost Rider. I need to figure that out. Guardians of the Galaxy number 12 is apparently going to be a huge deal. This is the only thing that wasn't a number 1 in this announcement, because apparently this is going to be the culmination of Thanos Wins, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Death of the Inhumans, Silver Surfer Black, and everything that's been going on in Guardians of the Galaxy. I have not read any of these books, so I have no idea what
no
this
input
is culminating into. Apparently it's a big deal, though, and for anybody that's been keeping up, big deal. Donny Cates and Corey Smith are working on it, and apparently everything that Donny Cates touches turns to gold, so, I guess check it out. I will. Someday. There's too many comic books to read. Spider-Ham. We already knew he was getting a book, but we now have the creative team and the release date. Zeb Wells and Will Robson are going to be working on it. It's going to be Spider-Ham and Peter Parker jumping through time together with adventures through time. Think like Rick and Morty, but, Spider-Ham and Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, you said travel through time, and I whited out.
I was waiting for any kind of a reaction from you about that.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, Conan the Barbarian Serpent War. It's going to be a little bit of an event from Jim Sub and Scott Eaton, as well as Steven Segovia doing art. Scott Eaton and Steven Segovia splitting the workload there. Conan, Solomon Kane, Dark Agnes, and Moon Knight are teaming up to fight an elder god by the name of Worm. So it's an interesting team up, particularly the addition of Moon Knight. And also Dark Agnes and Solomon Kane, this would be their introduction, I believe, to Marvel Comics, if I read correctly.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are, but I like Moon Knight.
From a different universe.
And really anything that involves fighting an elder god kind of piques my interest.
You do have a thing about fighting elder gods.
I do. It's cool. It's metal.
It's something. Symbiote Spider-Man, Alien Realities. So we're getting another Symbiote Spider-Man book with the same team, Peter David and Greg Land. I really like the first Symbiote Spider-Man book, so check this one out for sure. Basically, these are telling stories that happened in the time frame of Peter having the black suit. Mm-hmm. But it's not necessarily it's adding new canon to that, as opposed to currently Spider-Man is still Spider-Man in the red suit. These are stories in the past.
Right.
So, yeah, no, the last one had a whole lot to do with Black Cat and Mysterio. That was kind of cool. I ended up enjoying that run quite a bit. So, yeah, I'll definitely be checking this one out. And then the last little bit of news we got from that big Dumpo info, the Marvel's Avengers game is getting a comic book prequel series, starting with Iron Man #1 to be released in December, with Jim Zub and Paco Diaz as the creative team. So they're going to be releasing, from the looks of it, one for each of the major characters, the major playable characters in the game. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know if it's going to go up beyond #1, or because it didn't say if it was going to be miniseries or one-shots. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be called Marvel's Avengers Iron Man will be the first one. So presumably they'll do one of those for each of the characters.
That's kind of neat.
It is neat. And it'll tie into the video game.
Yeah, because that world is going to be different from the comic book world, different from the movie world. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this could be a cool place for, if people want to, if they're into the movies, but they don't want to get into comic books necessarily, this could be a cool spot to jump in.
Yep.
Because it'll all be related to what's going to be happening in the video game. All right. This last portion of our podcast.
Real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that?
James Tynion IV released his new horror book. I guess it was not this past week, but the week before, maybe. Yes. No, I think it was this week. Either way. It's out now. It's called Something is Killing the Children. I read the first issue, and it is real good. I am hook, line, and sinker. It's got me. I really like the art style. I really like the art. The story itself is super interesting. I'm into the character that they introduce her in kind of a weird way. I really, really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. Especially with this time of year, it's, even though it is in Missouri, it's still 90 degrees all friggin' week.
Now we're in that dumb
September.
variance where it's 65 in the morning and then 102 in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate it. But it's supposed to be spooky season, and spooky season requires a light jacket. Stop it. But it's real good. I'm a little mad that I started it, though, because I want it all. I want to know what happens. I'm not a patient person. I don't want to have to wait until next month to get the next issue. But I really like the art style. The story was really good. And if you are a horror fan at all, I definitely recommend it.
And I am. I meant to get it this last weekend. I completely forgot about it while we were up there. We were so excited about Borderlands 3.
Soon.
Very soon. It's the Next Portion podcast brought to you by our friends at Press Start to Join. You can find all of their content at ps2jshow.com, including their social media links. Definitely give them a check out. Google Stadia is coming to Android TV.
I thought that was interesting because, like, on the one hand, they said it's going to be on pretty much anything with a screen.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, they removed casting capabilities from smart TVs that weren't Google TVs from their phones. So I was kind of curious, like, no, if you want to play on a TV, you got to have that Chromecast Ultra. So I thought that was an interesting.
Yeah. So now you can get, if you don't want to get a Chromecast Ultra, you can get a Google TV, or an Android TV rather, which a lot of TVs are going to start getting bundled in, including a bunch of Sony TVs, and then the 3 TVs that are all they are different brands, but they're not. Hisense, Sharp, and Philips are all the same brand television, folks. I know it has a different logo. They're all the same Chinese manufacturer. They especially like all 3 of those brands I think used to be maybe not Hisense, but definitely Sharp and Philips used to be big time American brands. They got bought out by a Chinese manufacturer years ago and have since been, pumping those out. I think TCL is also the same.
Those are typically the kind of brands that you see get pushed on like
Black
Super Bowl
Friday,
sales, Black Friday sales, stuff like that.
Yup, yeah, those are the ones you see that are dirt cheap, and really, like, it's a fun little coin toss. You buy those TVs, like, they could either be, the problem with the manufacturing side of it is that they have, I should not be getting this much detail about this on this show, but they don't have near as high a
quality assurance.
Quality assurance program. So, like, it's really a toss-up. You could get a phenomenal television, or you could get crap. Just kind of up in the air. So anyway, a bunch of those TVs, though, will start to come with Android TV, and I'm sure that's going to expand out a little bit more, because even, like, my TV it's not Android TV, but it's basically Android TV, including a built-in Chromecast.
Yeah.
So Android TV will be castable and everything else. You can get one of like the Xiaomi boxes basically to do Android TV for like $70, and it'll do 4K and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's an alternative for you if you don't necessarily want to do the Chromecast Ultra. If you want to have a box with a remote, it has apps built into it, so you don't have to be Chromecasting with your phone.
Yeah.
And it has, the Google Voice stuff built into it, which is kind of nice. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So if you want to get Stadia on that, like if you're thinking about getting Stadia, that's $70 basically gets you that console, and then you pay your monthly fee with obviously persistent internet connection.
And you have to have
all
the controller.
Stuff, but you will have to have the controller unless you get the NVIDIA Shield. You can use whatever controller you want on that because it supports different controllers.
Okay.
But if you do the Chromecast Ultra or the Xiaomi $70 one, because I think both of those are right at $70. Regardless of which one of those you do have to get that controller that hooks up to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind if you're thinking about doing Stadia. There's also there's going to be a ton of different options for Google Stadia. We've talked about that a whole lot in this
and this rolls out next year too. So if you're going to try to jump straight into the paid edition, but you don't want to get the Founders Pack, you'll still need to use a Google phone or have to have the Chromecast Ultra on TV. But you can use like a laptop or computer. You just got to run Chrome on it.
Yep. Yeah, because it's not available on Chrome browser at launch, right? Like it'll be.
No, I think it is.
It is? Okay, cool.
I'm not 100% sure. I got a Google phone, not for Stadia, not for Stadia. Just
you just happen to have a Google.
It was cheap, and I needed a new phone.
The Pixel 3a XL, solid phone.
Yeah, so I have a Google phone, so I will be able to use it there, and then I'll also be able to, because the Founders Pack comes with the
controller
Chromecast and the controller. So that's all I've really been paying attention to. But I'm pretty sure it'll be available on desktop as well.
Fair enough.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll update. Ace at the very least will update you. He's going to be our pioneer on this Google Stadia stuff because it's something I'm very interested in, but only if I can do it my way. And Google probably doesn't want me to do it my way. So we'll see. We'll update you. We'll keep you in up to date. Apple Arcade, I talked about that a little bit earlier, launching September 19th. It'll also be $5 a month. Gonna have 100+ games at launch. Same thing though. Like you can play it on an Apple TV. You can play it on MacBook, you can play it on your iPad, your iPhone, whatever. You can pick up and play. Like you can pause the game on your iPhone, pick it up and play it on your tablet, your iPad specifically, not any tablet.
Because this isn't like the Apple TV Plus where you would imagine this could go. Like this is strictly from the App Store.
Yeah. So yeah, like this is something you have to have and pay for. You have to have an iPhone device, which seems neat. It's going to have a few different games for it. There's got apparently a brand new version of Frogger is going to be on it, and a bunch of other little games. So if you're an Apple user, like this could be a kind of neat thing to check out, especially at $5. It's a ton of games for $5. Tokyo Game Show. We got confirmation that there's a new Bomberman game in development. We'll have the original art style as well as the original voice actor for the OG Bomberman. So that'll be kind of cool. We don't have any information about it other than that, but that's cool. I know Mandy in particular is going to be very excited about another Bomberman.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's kind of like the old school.
Yeah, though I know she will never, nothing will ever replace Saturn Bomberman in her heart.
Right. Her and Pat.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Stadia will be available on any PC with Chrome. So
Gotcha.
you do have to use Chrome, but you can get it on PC.
Which is fine. I like Chrome.
Yep.
Anyway, so Killer Queen Black. We've talked about this a few times before. It's a very interesting looking game, and I definitely want to try it. We finally got a release date for it, October 11th, 2019. And we got a little bit of trailer talking a little bit more about how the gameplay works. I know this has a huge following and bigger arcades and stuff like that. They do tournaments for it all the time. Seems really interesting. I definitely want to check this game out. And the graphics, everything about it just looks really cool.
It looks fun. It looks like a great get together with a big group of people, because if you want to play with, so it's 2 teams of 4, and it's 2 teams of 4 going up against each other. You can win. The release date trailer is a great breakdown of what the game is and how it's played. Yeah. Because you can either ride the snail, you can get all the berries, or you can kill the queen. There's 3 ways to win. Different objective. It looks super, super fun.
It does, and I definitely want to try it because it does look really, really fun. All right. Oh, yeah, and the last little bit of thing before we get to Borderlands 3, Final Fantasy VII is going to have a classic battle mode. So basically, it's not going to completely undo the combat system, but it will make it all menu based.
Yeah, it's not going to make it strictly turn based, but it will make it menu based. So I think you may still need to have your positioning, but you're not going to have to actively put in attack commands like in the all of the trailers and things that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, basically, because I think right now the trailers are showing off combat system very similar to what's in 15. I think. I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy.
I like Kingdom Hearts too.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This looks interesting. It's one that I don't know if I will probably end up picking it up just because I like action RPGs. Yeah. I like those,
But this is a JRPG.
Yeah. I still need to play Dragon Quest 11. I have it on PS4, but
I've always heard that one was really good too. Yeah, I start losing whenever anybody starts talking about Final Fantasy. I start losing major nerd cred.
Yeah, no, because I've never played.
Yeah, I played through all but the last disc of Final Fantasy IX on PlayStation 1, and I played Final Fantasy Tactics. Mm-hmm. Those are the only 2 Final Fantasy games I've ever played.
What was the one where you had to have it wasn't. Maybe it was kind of like a Fire Emblem style game.
Tactics. Not
Tactics, because you had to, or maybe it was where you had to have the bucket of water or whatever it was. There's a bucket of magic you had to carry around the map and stay within that.
I think that was one of the Tactics Advance games.
I think so. I played that for a little bit. I enjoyed it. I was bad at it because I'm bad at all of those games.
Because they made for the Game Boy Advance, they had Tactics Advance and Tactics A2, and I didn't play either of those games, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you know what game I'm talking about, go to twitter.com/Podzilla1985 and let me know, because I don't know.
We need to know. Give us a follow while you're there. So, all right, Borderlands 3. So I want to start it with but before we get to anything else, I've come up with, we have this system for movies. I've adapted a version into video games. Full price, catch a sale, rent, skip. So that's going to be our 4. So before we get into like a whole lot of what we're talking about, Asa, what is your, of those 4, what do you give it?
Full price, for sure. Yeah, we'll get more into. I don't know. We will get more into it, but for right now, for me personally, it is a full price.
I agree that it is a full price game with certain amendments I would make. At the very least, it is worth owning at some point.
Yeah, if you liked the first 2 games, then definitely full price.
Oh, absolutely.
If you did not like, or you did not play the first 2 games, I would do a little bit of research. And then if you did not like 1 or 2, you will not like 3.
Yeah, because I guess it really depends, in my opinion, on what you disliked about 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like they have fixed like the controls, everything feels a lot more tight. The gunplay feels better than it did in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Halo or like any of those kind of like I guess tighter shooting systems.
That it's like there's more elements at play than just shooting.
So yeah, they put a lot of focus into that. So like a lot of things about this game. So there's been a lot of like people talking about performance issues and stuff like that. There's been a few issues that we've encountered. We've obviously encountered some bugs. It's a colossal game. Like guys, the amount of time we put into this game would have, I know this from experience, we would have beaten Borderlands 2.
Yes.
Because I've done that a time or 3 or 5. We would have beaten Borderlands 2. We are just barely over halfway through the story in Borderlands 3.
Which we've been doing the majority of side things that pop up.
We have been doing a lot of side quests. We still have, like, there's quite a few side quests we didn't do because we very quickly out-leveled them. So, yeah, because side missions. And there's so many side missions. So many side missions.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were talking about a lot about performance issues. Like I said, we encountered a few bugs. The majority of the bugs we're finding are involved with the network play. There was some weird stuff where like Ace's Xbox on Saturday, like 3 times in a row or 3 or 4 times in the span of an hour, just shut itself off.
Yeah, and that was one of my big things with like, because I am disappointed in how the game performs. I'll just like, I don't think it's a permanent thing. I'm willing to bet money that these issues will be patched out at some point, but it's still it's a big disappointment. Specific, like just for me, I'm not even considering the huge number of people online who are talking about their issues either on Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, or PC. Because like every single platform seems to have its own slew of issues that people are running into.
Yeah. Because it does have an option similar to some other games recently where you can choose to play in 4K or performance, so resolution mode or performance mode. So you can do 4K 30 or you can do 1080 60. So those are your 2 options there. Like there are a lot of people, apparently the resolution mode, the 4K 30 on PS4 Pro outright doesn't work in a lot of spots. PS4 Pro has had a lot of performance issues. A lot of that comes down to like how the PS4 handles 4K. It's not like true native. The PS4 Pro just can't do it. I've heard people have similar problems with the Xbox One X in that it'll chug in a few places. Like the frame rate won't look quite as good in a few places.
And I've definitely run into that.
I did not. While I was playing, the only time I ever had anything resembling frame rate issues was whenever we were playing with Trevor while he was hosting and he was in a menu. That's one thing that is super weird. Like if the host jumps into a menu, everybody else gets like either lag or frame rate problems. Just so strange. Which I guess is why I didn't experience a lot of that frame rate issue for most of our playthrough, because I was hosting when me and Asa were playing.
Yeah, and I would and it wasn't even necessarily, it would be in the middle of firefights too, so it's not just when you were in menus. Like I was having those enemies rubber band. I was having moments where it's telling me I'm getting critical hits, but the health bar isn't changing at all. I ran into a slew of issues with the game. And like I said, it's not. I'm going to keep playing it. It's not like it. I still gave it the full price.
Right.
It's just it's very disappointing. And also like, it was weird. So whenever we were in a party, I would always jump into a cutscene. Like when we go to somewhere new or like something, I would miss a chunk of dialogue because it would be running for you, but then I'm still loading in, and we're both on 1Xs. So I don't. It's I guess it's just an advantage of being host. And I didn't miss anything important. It would be like the first 3 seconds of something. So like that, stuff like that. It's just little things that kind of add up to being like, oh, this like I said, it's going to get patched out eventually, I'm sure. It's just kind of a bummer to be running into.
Because it seems like they're having a problem with multiplayer capabilities,
which is a big downside. For a team-based looter shooter.
For online. Apparently, had we been playing local, which we could have since we were on my network, that would have erased all of our problems. Like, we could have played offline local, and we would have been better.
Huh. But I do also know that apparently split screen is almost unplayable in most cases.
Because of, it's perfectly fine until one of you needs in a menu.
Which is constantly.
Yeah. So, basically, you have to make sure, if you need it in a menu in a firefight, you will get your other player killed in split screen.
Which, I mean, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, no, that's not okay. Because, the frame rate drops. It apparently, I've heard people talk about, 4 frames per second just chugging real bad when another player's in a menu. And, yeah, no, that's not okay.
And between the amount of time you have to spend in the menu and how poorly optimized the menus are, because, anytime you get a new skill, I hope you got 20 seconds to load up that initial screen.
The menus definitely take longer to load up than I feel like they should. And this is one of those things Borderlands really should have done a beta test for this. Put out a weekend closed beta or something like that for a stress test, which that was one thing. We never got kicked out.
Yeah, we never had server issues.
We never had server
like
issues
that.
with it. It was these local problems that very much could have been found out early on in the development process that they had network issues. They could have released, a closed beta for that and solved those issues. So yeah, there's that problem. Apparently on PC, there's a huge issue with the DirectX 12 implementation, something they are actively working on. They I've read a couple of different reports. Apparently they were a hair misinformed by how Microsoft was going to be implementing DX12. And that made for some significant problems with Borderlands 3. So if you've got it on PC and you've got one of those newer, nicer video cards, there are fixes out there to drop you back to DX11, and that will solve the bulk of your performance issues, if not all of them. But yeah, if you've got one of those newer, nicer video cards that runs DX12, you're going to have a bad time right now with Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Which is another one of those things that's really problematic and would have been found out. Well, they actually did know about this before release. They knew that they had a DX12 problem because the version they released to reviewers, they told them specifically, do not enable DX12 for this game. So yeah, I read about that in some of the reviews that, because I think it was Polygon was given one of the early review versions of the game.
Yeah.
Which the early review versions were early builds of the game that they were given access to. They just got special accounts with special builds.
Yeah, they had
game.
Epic Game Store accounts given to them instead of game codes or anything like that. The review situation for this game is a whole other story.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of weirdness going on.
It's a whole lot of weirdness that stems seemingly from the leaks that have been happening from.
That's what they say. They claimed it was.
Security issues or something along those lines, but regardless, we're not talking about that. So yeah, it has had some performance issues. I'll admit that. I as the host playing for most of the time we played over the weekend, I had almost no problems in terms of critical bugs. We did have to restart twice. From problems that I experienced. One being an enemy accidentally killed itself and we had to destroy that enemy's body.
Yeah, he jumped into a death trap. So he jumped off of the map. So we couldn't pursue him to loot his body.
Right. And we had to get something off of his body to continue.
Yeah.
So we had to reload, go back in to get that, which was really just fast travel out, fast travel in. Then we had to. There was another one where we had to kill like every enemy in the area.
Yeah, we had to defeat a wave of enemies to defend this one person, and then the enemy died, but he stayed standing, and he could still register like critical hits and like he was taking damage.
But he just had no health left.
Yeah,
we just couldn't kill him, so we had to reload that one, and it fixed itself immediately, and we were good to go. But yeah, the couple of those things were kind of annoying. The map situation, there are things that I really, really like about the new map, things that I really, really hate about the new map. I love the fast travel system. That's awesome. I hate that it automatically moves me to the closest fast travel location when I open the map.
Mm-hmm. Or
that
like
was driving me bonkers.
When you move your joystick when you open the map, like, oh, which way in this 10-foot square do I need to go? Top of the map. Like, no, I don't want
fast travel spot.
Yeah.
No. Didn't need to go there. I wanted to see where I needed to go here. Which sometimes is a problem because there are certain maps where there's not a lot of fast travel points on.
But also, at least this map does something differently where it actually shows you
the 3D map.
The 3D map is great. So you know, in Borderlands 2, it's like, oh, you have to go. There's a circle. Can you just go? And the objective is right on the right. Can I go there? No, it's a giant cliff wall. So you have to you actually have to follow the trap. The map is very, very unhelpful in that regard. Yep. This map, it's 3D, so it will show you, oh, I have to be 2 stories above,
and here's the path to get there.
And there's actually a path that leads to that general area, at least.
Yes, and that is significantly nicer. I absolutely love the character classes in this. So we're gonna move now. Like we've talked about now some of the issues that we've had with the game. Now I want to talk about some of the stuff that I absolutely love about the game.
Real quick, one other caveat that I will put on. So when I say, you know, if you liked Borderlands 1 and 2, if you liked the writing in 1 and 2, if you did not like the writing in 1 or 2, you will not like the writing in 3.
Correct.
Just hands down. I don't even like Borderlands 2. I think I like this as a game more just because I really like the gameplay. And I love some of the things that they've done with the weapons that we'll get into here in a minute. But the writing, the villain, like where we are in the story, because we haven't finished it, and this is a spoiler-free review. Where we're at in the story, the Calypso twins kind of just got interesting for me.
Yeah.
Whereas Handsome Jack, literally from the first 20 minutes of the game, I was like, this is one of the best villains in any video game I've ever played. And nothing in that story took that away. Like, it just, if anything, those feelings just got stronger the more I played through it. Whereas, okay, yeah, I get what they're going for. I get these guys. Okay, yeah, well, all right. Oh, yeah, you have jokes, and you're obnoxious, and you're jerks. It's kind of Handsome Jack, but, like, now it's in 2 different people.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I can't say that obviously, as of right now, where we're at in the game, I like Handsome Jack more than the Calypso twins.
Oh, handedly. I like and like I said, the where we are now, the Calypso twins have gotten very interesting. Like, I like them a lot more now, where we're at in the story. But just overall, I feel like the writing isn't as strong to me. Like, some of the less jokes are landing than they did in 2. And I feel like if this was any other franchise other than Borderlands, I would not think any of this was funny. But because it's Borderlands, like, no, it gets a pass. I love it. Yeah, because I just love this franchise, and it truly can do no wrong.
Because, like, the jokes are still landing for me. I'm still enjoying it quite a bit.
And several of them are. Like, you've heard me laughing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like I'm, this is terrible. Like, they're not funny. They're trying to be funny. No, it was like, no,
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, they're putting a lot more time. I think, like, one of the big things that this has versus what Borderlands 2 had, they're putting a lot more time into character development in Borderlands 3 because it's, a significantly longer game with way more characters. We're getting to know and appreciate more characters, like they're being more fleshed out.
Right.
Like there's a ton of characters that you end up meeting that, like, right away I'm like, I love this character.
Clay.
And oh yeah, Clay is awesome. Lorelei is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a bunch of characters that are just awesome. Like from the more like Wainwright. That was one.
Yeah.
Wainwright, like, immediately I'm just like, that's okay. And the more, like, we learned about Wainwright and the more, like, Wainwright talked to us and we did some quests and stuff like that, like, I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is awesome. And yeah, I mean, there's a few characters like that, and I'm hoping that I have that, like, that turning point with the Calypso twins where, like, I'll get to, we're learning about them the slowest of any of the characters.
Right.
So like we've got their motivation, we've got their stuff down, but we don't have, and we got a little bit of their backstory. Mm-hmm. But like there's still a lot of stuff that I think we don't know about the Calypso twins yet.
Yeah, because even some of the stuff that we know, the little that we know about their backstory, we just found out. Like that was one of the last like 3 or 4 missions that we ran.
And again, halfway through the game.
Yeah.
And we're just now finding out about this. So yeah, I mean they're jerks, like obviously. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Handsome Jack was a jerk, but Handsome Jack we had a lot more. Because again, I also want to point out, halfway through the game we are now, Borderlands 2 we would have beaten already. So like maybe it's a little bit of a pacing issue with why I don't necessarily like the Calypso twins as much at this point in the game as I did at the same percentage point that I did in Borderlands 2. Mm-hmm. I will say I definitely and this is me saying like I dislike the character in the story as in like what they're wanting me to do. They want me to hate these characters. Mm-hmm. They are succeeding. I hate these characters. I don't hate how they're written. Mm-hmm. I actually hate these characters. I
am very much looking forward to killing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely had that with Handsome Jack as well. But with Handsome Jack, like, I don't know, there was a lot of parts about him that was almost endearing. Mm-hmm. And we haven't gotten any of that out of the Calypso twins yet.
It's not that he was endearing. He was more... I'm trying to do this without wrestling, without bringing in wrestling. Okay, so the episode of Community with the high school kids. Duh. Like, yeah. You are not supposed to enjoy anything about them or anything about that. They are just written to be terrible humans that have no redeeming qualities. I feel like we weren't supposed to like Handsome Jack, but he was so funny and so clever that you really couldn't help yourself. I distinctly remember, like, one of the first things that we listened to from him is him eating, like he's crunching on chips or something. We're like, oh, hey, buddy, you didn't die? Like, whatever, like, I don't know why, but that, like, was just like, oh, he's just so dismissive, and it's just like, that's funny, he's cool.
Yeah.
Whereas the Calypso twins they are obnoxious, and they are written to be obnoxious. Yep. Whereas he wasn't, he was evil, but he was cool. These are just a couple punks that these idiot bandits follow, and they've convinced to, pledge their lives to. But they're not special. They're not cool. And then as we progress through the story, we see, oh, well, they're powerful. Oh, that's pretty twisted. Yeah. Like things like that. So.
And I feel like we're going to get more and more of that. And eventually there's going to be a turn where we're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I really, really like these guys. Because I know me personally, I do like how they're written quite a bit at this point. And so when I say like I hate them, like, and they're not, like the community, I get where you were going with the community reference, and I'm not trying to take away from that, but it's not like they are written specifically just to be super obnoxious, like characters and everything. They're still like, I just want to make sure that I'm getting it across. I don't think that this was lazy or bad writing that has developed the Calypso twins. I think that it is just taking us a while to get to where they're really interesting to
I don't
us.
think they're being written poorly by any stretch. Like, I don't think this is bad writing. I just think that they are being more, they are absolutely not as extreme as, the community kids or the little neighbor kid that harasses Hank.
Right.
Dusty old bones, full of green dust. Like, I don't think that's truly what they're going for, but there's more elements of that to their character. God Queen Tyrene. I don't know what, like that just pops in my head randomly throughout the day.
No, it's fair. And like I said, they've had moments that are pretty fantastic. They've had moments where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna murder you so hard as soon as I can, but I don't know how because you're real powerful now.
Yeah.
Because there's more than a few moments that are like that. But I like them a whole lot. They've also introduced some other villains, like Hammerlock's sister comes up. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's a cold-hearted woman.
Honestly, there
Aurelia,
was one,
I think is her name.
Aurelia, yeah. I think so. The side quest that we did about the Pact. Like, I dug that. Like, just even
oh my god, that mission was so great.
Lieutenant Beans, or whatever. On Athenia. Athens.
Oh yeah. He was the
one with the book.
Yeah. Wait.
You're trying to find her stuff.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like,
He's the Maliwan guy.
Yeah.
No, that was fun. That was he.
Like no, all of the characters. Like I think maybe it's just because of how much I love Handsome Jack that it had such a high bar that a triple is great. But I was really hoping for that home run.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's something like that because like I love this. I'm enjoying the story a lot. I really enjoy a lot of the characters, and it is all very, very good. Again, I'm not trying to be like super negative on it because again I said full price.
Loving this game,
but the majority of that does come from the gunplay and the
looter shooter aspect.
The looter shooter aspect of so I've been using this gun for a very long time and I really, really like it. This one's just a little bit more powerful, but it does something different. And being torn between which gun I want to try and use and things like that. And I really want to play with these other characters because I enjoy Moe's. I just feel like I use Iron Bear so rarely. And
because you're worried about that cooldown.
Because the cooldown is huge, but also like I don't get to be in it very long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I pop in because like all of the weapons use up the fuel. You have a limited amount of fuel, or if your health goes down.
Yeah.
So those are the two ways you can you get out of Iron Bear, and it's just like I don't know. I need to be more liberal with my use, but like I said, it also just kind of feels like all right, well I can take down 2 or 3 badasses at a time in one use. And outside of that, hope nothing even bigger shows up after.
Because it definitely takes that one has a long cooldown.
Whereas,
on
like,
it.
I really want to do I really want to play as Zane because I really like the idea of the shield and the drone.
Fun.
I want to play as Flak mostly now because found out that Pro ZD is the voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I didn't know that until today. And then even Amara, like watching you, like some of the abilities that you get with Amara. I'm just like
I love my Amara build right now.
I want to do Amara too.
Holy crap, she is fun. So yeah, that's one thing that I definitely want to talk about. Move on a little bit from some I guess the story stuff in the game, the gameplay itself. The guns all feel incredible. There's definitely the most distinct difference in the brands that there's ever been in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know when I'm using a Dahl SMG. I know when I'm using a Maliwan anything.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I'm using Vladoff and Hyperion. Like it's very distinct difference. Where it used to be like a lot of the guns, like there were like Jacobs were always like a really clear difference.
Mm-hmm.
Maliwan usually had like some stylistic stuff that was like pretty clear.
And they were also the elemental.
Yeah, they were always elemental, but like Hyperion and Dahl could also be elemental.
Yeah.
They just didn't, little differences, like subtle things. But yeah, there was definitely, there's a series of guns, especially once you get to like Dahl, Vladoff, and Hyperion, like it was kind of hard to tell the difference between those three. Like in a lot of cases, like you could be using a Dahl sniper and you're like, you could easily confuse that with a Vladoff sniper.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation where now like very clear differences for all of them. Like each of them have like certain gimmicks and stuff that are really cool.
Mm-hmm. Children of the Vault guns don't actually reload. You just have to. They can overheat, and if they do overheat too many times, then they can break.
Yep.
So you just lose it.
A lot of the classic stuff is back. A lot of the classic brands, but there's a lot of new brands.
Atlas has the
Atlas is back.
Children of the Vault is one of the ones that's new because that replaced Bandit.
Yep.
Atlas has the option of firing out a tracking grenade that any enemy that is touched by that grenade when it goes off for a short period of time, your bullets will automatically seek them out.
And that one's super fun to use, especially the pistols I really like.
So the pistol that I have now, just to give you an idea of what you can do with some of these characters, I got Mose's last trait, which is it regenerates ammo in your magazine. I have a pistol this Atlas pistol holds 72 shots in the mag.
Is this the legendary one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It holds 72 shots in the magazine. I have to actively try to empty the magazine. But it also, I also have a perk that I deal more damage the lower in the magazine that I get. So if I'm up against a badass enemy or, a boss enemy, I'm just holding it down. If I can keep it to the like 15 to 20 range, I'm doing extra damage and I'm not having to worry about reloading.
Yep.
Because it's because when it's the magazine, it generates 5% per second. So 72, 5% of that's pretty. Is not a small amount. Like I'm getting 4 ammo back a second, 3 ammo back a second.
Yeah.
So I'm very much enjoying that. There's certain things like that. Atlas has the smart bullets. Jacobs is still like the as fast as you can pull the trigger style, which I'm liking pistols way more than I've ever have in a Borderlands game.
The Jacobs pistols are so good in this
At the same time, though, like snipers kind of suck. Which I've seen a couple Reddit posts about, like how the snipers need a boost, need a buff, need to be buffed. But
I get, like they're a little gun shy, I think, on snipers, because snipers, like especially with Zero in Borderlands 2, they were super overpowered, like mostly because of Boar. Like he had a couple of abilities that he could throw out there where, like, depending on like what gun you had and like where you were, like you could throw out some lucky shots to one-shot major bosses with Zero back in Borderlands 2. So I understand why they wanted to, like, they felt the need to nerf sniper rifles a little bit, but I think they went too hard.
Yeah, which again, this can all of these things can be balanced out in future patches.
And they will. Like it's absolutely would not be the first time the Gearbox has made gun balance changes like midway through.
Torg still has all of the explosive rounds, even though there's no longer an explosive elemental type anymore. Now it's just kinetic, which it shares the same stats as the basic bullets, but these still do give an explosion when they hit. And
they have like most of the Torg ones that I've seen, like you can do like now incendiary, frozen, or irradiated. The last two obviously being new to this franchise.
And caustic.
I would imagine they do, but I actually haven't seen a caustic one yet.
You meant for the Torg guns. Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's my bad.
I meant for the Torg guns. Because I had an incendiary Torg shotgun that I adored. That thing was awesome. It was like a little mini grenade launcher. It was super nice. So anyway, no, that's awesome. Like the guns are amazing. The amount of time and effort and greatness they put into the skill trees, like it's so much fun. Like I mean, there's a bunch of different classes or action skills that you can use. You can mix and match like across skill trees with certain aspects of it. Like I'm going down one skill tree with Amara that deals mostly with shock damage, and another tree there's something that gives me a damage boost and then an additional damage boost for shock damage. Like Asa's seen me throw out some of the phase cast ultimate where I've just blown away an entire like wave of enemies. And then like that pops out like little like damaging balls and death and stuff. It's so good, so much fun. Trevor's having a whole lot of fun with Flack, who I definitely want to try. I messed around a whole lot with Zane playing with Trevor. He was super fun to play. Like I mostly just messed with his shield ability, which is ridiculously handy. Just throw that bad boy down, like get a group of people behind that thing, and you're just killing everybody. Jacob's pistols are one-shotting people. It's awesome.
Sirens on our end.
Yeah. Thanks, Broadway.
Because the shield issues more damage, like when you shoot through it, kind of like a Destiny style
bubble
ability bubble. Yeah, so it's super cool. I can't wait to play more of it. I'm bummed I can't play tonight because I'm packing. I might get, depending on how quickly I can get my stuff done, I might jump on for a little bit, but I have to be an adult because we can start potentially moving into our new place next week, and I would like to get some of that done.
That's entirely fair.
So. But it is a great game, especially if you are already a fan of the franchise. I have no reason to think that you wouldn't like it. I feel like a lot of the reviews that were like the PC Gamer review that I read, like that was the one that came out that got early access. It gave it like a 63, but it was strictly because like they didn't like the humor. Like the gameplay was fun. It didn't really it didn't revolutionize Borderlands, but it didn't need to. It just kind of took what Borderlands does well as a franchise and just improved on that. So like there's vaulting, there's sliding, mobility is better than it's ever been.
For sure. The planets.
Oh yeah, it's a gorgeous game. And they do genuinely feel different. Like Pandora feels wildly different from Promethea, from Eden 6. And then there's only one other planet.
I cannot remember the name of the other planet.
Athenia or something like that.
Athenia, yeah.
And those are the planets that we've made it to. I think there's probably a couple more.
Or is it Athenas?
It's something like that.
Yeah, one of the two. All 4 planets are all, obviously we've been to Pandora. We played that one to death. But yeah, Eden 6 is probably the biggest planet in this one, at least with the most like explorable terrain. They're huge. The fast travel system is absolutely necessary, and I'm really glad that that's in there. You can fast travel from anywhere. You no longer have to find a fast travel station. Big fan of that. Minus what I mentioned earlier about auto snapping to the nearest fast travel. That's really obnoxious. You can even fast travel to like teammates' cars or your own cars from anywhere, which is super handy. But yeah, no, all the planets are awesome. Like they all feel very unique. They have different monsters on each planet. And they're not just like, variations on pre-existing ones. They're actually like, you find a lot of ratches in the, which are like giant cockroach things on Promethea.
Rats and roaches.
Yeah. You find on Eden 6, it's all swampland. So you're fighting a bunch of like lizards and frogs and stuff. And that's where you find like the jabbers, like the monkey things. So yeah, it's super fun, and I really, really like it. Yeah, Asa is definitely right. If you didn't like the first two games, honestly, I would still suggest a rental on this one because there's enough about it that's different. Unless if you just hate looter shooters, like nothing about that appeals to you at all, then obviously, yeah, you turned off this show a long time ago. You're not listening to it anymore. But yeah, if you hate looter shooters entirely, then yeah, no, you're probably gonna hate this one too. But if you're a fan of looter shooters, even if you didn't like Borderlands in the past, give it a shot now. Granted, like they're having some performance issues. Apparently that's hit and miss for people. Again, I had almost no troubles at all. Asa had some pretty significant troubles, but not near as game breaking as some of the stuff that I've been reading on the internet.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to get fixed. Gearbox is great about taking care of stuff like that. They're going to keep supporting this game. I mean, Borderlands 2, like we were getting content. We got a free DLC drop a few weeks before Borderlands 3 came out for Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
They're still updating Borderlands 2 VR. They released a 4K version of the first Borderlands game. Gearbox is going to keep supporting it. Mm-hmm. So don't worry. They're not going to Anthem it and just leave it to die.
Anthem's on EA Access now.
It sure is. Not the expensive one either.
Yeah.
Straight up EA Access. Anyway, it's a great game. I'm absolutely enjoying it, and I think that if you're a fan of looter shooters at all, you should at the very least rent this game. Dick around with it for a weekend with some buddies. It's a lot of fun. Just maybe don't do local co-op, or at least don't do split screen for a minute, because that has some serious issues. Mm-hmm. At least until an update
split screen
releases.
For sure.
Yeah, split screen is not working real well right now, but I have full confidence in Gearbox that they'll get that fixed.
Yeah.
Because again, they're not ones to just like let Borderlands die. They will keep supporting the game. I mean, this is the same group that kept Battleborn going around for years. Like beyond it dying a very swift death. They kept supporting that for so long. So yeah, definitely check this out. We're going to talk a whole lot more about this on the next episode of the Hype Train. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be a little bit more spoilery. Though I doubt we'll have the game beaten by then.
Yeah, probably not.
Because it is, once again, a very long game. And no, I will not do this weekend that we just did again anytime soon.
What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, my God. All right. In the meantime, though, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Make sure you check us out. If you have opinions on Borderlands, hit us up on the Facebooks or the Twitters. We're paying attention to both of those things. And then you can find us individually in addition at Podzilla1985, at PZ85JK, and then Asa, yours...
The 5-star man with the number 5.
There you go. There's no PZ85 in it?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if there was or not. All right.
No, I redid mine before everybody started to do PZ85 on theirs, and I was like, I'm just going to keep mine.
No, that's fair.
So whenever I leave all you bozos behind, I ain't got to change nothing.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening, and make sure you tell a friend. We'll see you next time.